You know, when you go to the grocery store and you see emblazoned across the item that you want to purchase, new and improved. Well, that's the case for, at least in my humble opinion, our next wind tunnel guest, who has reinvented himself. But then again, maybe not. Look, why don't we just find out from the source himself? We welcome Will Power into the wind tunnel. Will, the talk all season long has been this newfound perspective on your part about your, well, the way you go about races. There was a period of time where a lot of times, the you were you were your own worst critic, and when things didn't go the way that you expected, well, then you would erupt emotionally, not necessarily at someone else, but within your own soul. That
Mm.
seems to be absent this year.
Well, yeah, you got it. You've got it exactly right. When things didn't go the way I expect, that life, it never goes the way you expect. So, yeah, the reaction. Yeah, I mean, I honestly haven't changed that much. I mean, I'm having a great year, and I always work hard at it. I love it, and my racecraft is definitely good because I've just had a bad run of qualifying, so I'm starting
Yeah.
back there, and you get good at racing when you're back there. So you think about how many years I spent qualifying right at the front. You weren't starting in the pack, so it's yeah, it as you get older, you get a bit more calm anyway. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that as well, and yeah, nothing. If I stopped racing now, I'd be happy with my career. So I haven't really got any pressure on me to, put up, more wins or whatever it may be, a championship. But I still have a very, very strong desire to win and compete at the highest level. And I'm working as hard as I did when I was in my 20s, and also have that same fire burning as I had when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, but I think you understand it more, and I think that's prototypical of anybody that has the number of years at a craft, such as yourself. In the beginning, it's yes, you want to win. It's a burning desire. You'll do whatever it takes. But then along comes that period where you wonder if you'll ever win again. And then you start to measure yourself. And oh my God, you wake up one morning and you're so confused because it stops being fun.
Mm.
Is it fun for willpower now? Because it sure strikes me that it is, that you actually enjoy testing yourself like you forced yourself into doing it mid Ohio.
Yeah, it is. I think you get to a point, or when you get to a certain age, you realize that there are times in my career I was like, oh, you're looking elsewhere. There must be something better elsewhere. But at the end of the day, it's this is what I love doing. I enjoy it so much, and when you finish a weekend, it's been just a clean weekend, not necessarily one or anything. You just put a good, solid weekend together. You always come away thinking, man, it is so enjoyable. It's such a great. I'm so lucky to be doing this as a job. So yeah, I think it's yeah, just it's funny. Like I just it's I have such desire now that I had when I was younger. I've had less desire than this for sure. In previous years, I have, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just enjoy the craft. I love racing. I mean, it's what I've loved since I was a little kid and still do.
How did that love get born? Take me back to
Yeah.
when you were a little kid, and how you became so romanced with motorsports.
It was my father who had a Formula 2 car in his garage, and he raced. And I just loved racing. I loved open wheel cars. I loved Formula One. And I remember watching Formula One when I was a kid. And I remember Indianapolis, watching that. Um, and it's all I wanted to be as a kid. That's all I wanted to be. If I was ever asked at school when I was a kid, about 8 years old, the answer would be exactly that.
was a long path, and it wasn't without its shall I say exit ramps and blockades for you. And in some cases, happenstance is what seemed to pave the way for Will Power to get to the point where now you are comfortable in your own skin. And look, don't con me, because I've always said it and I believe it with you. You've never worked a day in your life, because this is a passion and a love that you enjoy. So, for me, dealing with that adversity, how has that made you a better husband, a better father, just a better member of the entire human race?
Well, that's just life. Every
Yeah,
single person goes through the same struggle and usually comes to, at some point, the same conclusions. And yeah, we all have. That's just, it's, this place, Earth, isn't built to cater for human beings. We've got to work around all the difficulties, and that's just life. Motorsport is a great example of life, the ups and downs of it over a whole season. Within one season, you can get the sort of ups and downs you get it over a 10-year period in life. So yeah, it's, the older you get, the more you just accept that that's what it is. As simple as that. I think that's mental strength, honestly. Mental strength is just not caring, or
good
accept,
point. Yeah.
just accepting. I mean, it's the way it is. It's never going to be perfect. Life isn't fair. Sometimes you get a bit lucky. Sometimes you get unlucky. I mean, I reckon it all filters out about the same for people.
I'm in no way, shape with the question I'm going to ask you, trying to promote you getting out of the cockpit. But let's face it, that's somewhere and hopefully well down the road. But with the passion that you've had and the abiding fire in your soul, what is life after the cockpit? Is it in the world of motorsports? Is that what you hope will happen? Or will you have a drop the mic moment and then, like others, just walk away and say, that's the end of that chapter in my life?
I just find it very difficult to believe that I could just stop racing. I am sure within a couple of months, I'd be like, I have to get in a car. I really do. I just can't. Like, I've thought about it a couple of times. Like, I think I'd just, yeah, I'll keep at it as long as I can. I just can't see myself doing that. I mean, what would you do? What would you do? For someone like me, I think I'd go crazy.
Well, we don't want to see that. And it's, as I said, way far down the road. A lot of talk throughout the season. In fact, on Brick by Brick, just recently, Tony Kanana and I were discussing just what work has been put forth by the Bowtie Brigade for 2022 and with Chevrolet, but specifically also some of the turnaround of the unexpected within Team Penske. As a driver, yes, you've had your unexpected moments and maybe some disappointments, but overall, how strong is Team Penske and Chevrolet in 2022 compared, let's say, to 2021?
Oh, it's a big improvement on the engine front for sure, and the drivability department. I think we also found some power. So Chevy did a great job over the off season, but also the team. I feel like the team just had a bad year last year. Simply, I feel like we gave away quite a few wins. It was just some oddball sort of mechanical stuff that wasn't really anyone's fault. But this year everything's clicking, and I definitely the strongest team by far this year. The strongest team is, and that doesn't necessarily mean the actual performance or speed of the car, but just the execution of race weekends. Because as you know, a lot of gears have to mesh well for race weekend to go smoothly, and that's, I feel like, what Team Penske's strength is.
And Team Penske's strength stretches well beyond the NTT IndyCar series, and all of it finds itself in-house in North Carolina. And I wonder, for someone like you that has that abiding passion, what it's like to interact with the Logano's of the world and the Blaney's of the world, and everything over on the road racing side, and your ultimate boss's son's accomplishments in stock car racing. How enjoyable is that to have an assortment of very talented racers in house at at your disposal to, if nothing more, just sit down and exchange ideas and kibitz now and again?
Well, actually, we don't really see each other very much
You're so busy.
because we're never in the shop at the same time. It's kind of funny. Last year at the second Indy road course race, all the NASCAR guys were there. That is the first time I've ever seen one of the Cup drivers in our truck.
Really?
So, yeah, because they were there. They were racing the next day. So I think they might have even been practicing on the day that we were racing. So yeah, it was. Haven't had all that much interaction. I get out there sometimes with Austin Cindric, and we go karting, and always have a good catch up with him. But yeah, I mean, the team is just full of great, talented drivers. Yeah, the times we do get together would be Christmas party or a team breakfast or something. It's always fun, a lot of joking.
Hey, have you ever entertained the possibility of maybe taking a one-off in a stock car, in a Cup car, or even in an Xfinity car?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I would like to do it. I've over the years, I've always been a little reluctant to do anything else but IndyCar because I'm so focused, and I do not want to take anything away from what I'm doing in IndyCar. And it's tough in the season. It's a grind, and anything that takes a bit of energy away from trying to win races in IndyCar, I just haven't put much energy into it, and trying to get it right or something like that. But I would love to do it at some point. I really would.
I see in the background a surfboard. Please explain to me the significance in Will Power's life of a surfboard. Is it just because of where you come from, or are you a beach guy?
No, that was actually for winning St. Pete Grand Prix.
There you go. If it isn't motorsports related, right, it is not going to be in Will Power's home. That's amazing.
Just that's what you got for winning St. Pete. It's pretty cool. I've got a couple of them, I think.
Well, yeah, I think you do, but you realize that one of your fellow drivers, Kyle Kirkwood, surfing is the way he stays in training. So it's always available to you. You could, take a run down to Jupiter, and I'm sure he could give you some lessons. Can you imagine yourself on a surfboard?
Oh, I've been on one. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Australia, so you're definitely going to get on a surfboard at some point. I did a lot of bodyboarding when I was younger. Obviously do a lot of body surfing anytime I go back to Australia. So yeah, they got the best beaches in the world as far as surf. Man, it's Kyle Kirkwood would be in heaven if we raced on the Gold Coast still.
Wouldn't he? Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hey, listen, it's always a pleasure. It's so refreshing to see a Will Power comfortable in his own skin. And that has always indicated to me that there's a lot of success on the horizon for you, more championships, more wins, and go get them before the end of 2022. Let's keep the ball rolling. Okay.
Absolutely, Jack. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Hey, take care, my friend.
Good stuff.
Take care. See you.